the Duisburg man-eater. In the silence of post-war Germany, amid the crumbled ruins and rebuilding cities, something darker was quietly taking shapes, something monstrous. Joachim Kroll was born on April 17, 1933, the sixth of 9 children in a poor mining family in Hindenburg, Upper Silesia. He was a sickly, timid child, mocked for his stutter and slight frame. He wet the bed into adolescence, clung to his mother, and never quite fit into the world. When World War II ended and his father returned from a Soviet POW camp, Joachim had already retreated into himself. His education was meager, his social development stunted. He was obsessed with control, with animals, particularly how they died, and eventually with death itself. By the late 1950s, Kroll had moved to Duisburg, working as a lavatory attendant and factory laborer. He lived alone, quiet and unnoticed. But inside him, something had long since rotted. His first known kill came on February 8, 1955. Irmgard Strell, 19, was raped and murdered in a field near Ludinghausen. Her intestines were torn out. Kroll had masturbated over the corpse. It was only the beginning. Over the next 2 decades, bodies turned up across the Ruhr region. Girls, women, even children. They were found strangled, mutilated, sexually violated, sometimes with organs removed, sometimes with bite marks. Investigators suspected multiple killers. Kroll didn't have a pattern, only a hunger. He killed wherever opportunity struck, in a forest, in a bomb shelter, along the Rhine. He favored strangulation. It was quiet. Afterward, he would violate the corpse. In some cases, he returned later to visit the body again. By the 1960s, panic gripped the region. The press whispered of a phantom, but the real horror was how unremarkable he seemed. Kroll was overlooked by neighbors and colleagues alike, a man-child with a soft voice and dull eyes. When interviewed after the war, psychologists later described him as having the emotional intelligence of a child. But Kroll's crimes escalated. He began cutting flesh from his victims, taking it home to cook. He admitted later to police that he preferred human meat to pork, claiming it was nice and tender. He boiled it, fried it, ate it with potatoes. His fridge held dark secrets no one imagined. One of the most tragic cases came in July 1976. Marianne Ketter, a 4-year-old girl, vanished from her home in Duisburg. Her mother had let her play outside in the courtyard for a few minutes. When she didn't return, the neighborhood erupted in panic. A sewer repairman soon made a grisly discovery. Pieces of flesh clogged in the building's plumbing. The trail led directly to Kroll's apartment. Police knocked. Kroll opened the door calmly. On his stove was a cooking pot filled with carrots and small strips of meat. In the refrigerator, they found organs. In the bathroom, a hand floated in the toilet. When asked where the meat had come from, Kroll answered simply, "From my dinner, from the little girl." He confessed everything in chilling, unemotional detail. He described his crimes, at least 14 murders between 1955 and 1976. He killed for sex, for control, and for food. Cannibalism, he claimed, was born not from madness, but economy. Meat was expensive. He showed no remorse, no understanding of the gravity. He asked police if he would be released soon so he could return to work. Psychiatrists declared him legally sane. He was not insane, just evil, pitifully so. On April 8, 1982, after a sensational trial, Joachim Kroll was convicted of multiple counts of murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. He died in prison of heart failure in 1991. Kroll never screamed or lashed out. He never begged for forgiveness. He shuffled into prison and out of history with the same blank expression he'd worn his entire life. Behind his quiet demeanor was a predator unlike any other in modern German history. A man so forgettable he might have remained invisible if not for the clogged drain. Joachim Kroll wasn't a monster from fairy tales. He wore no mask, showed no rage. He was quiet, unremarkable, and that's what made him truly terrifying. While the world around him was rebuilding after the war, he was quietly feeding a sick obsession, one victim at a time. His victims were innocent, his methods were brutal, and his motives disturbingly cold. Kroll died behind bars, without a hint of remorse, but the shadow he cast over the Ruhr region still lingers. Sometimes true horror doesn't hide in the dark. It walks quietly beside you on the street.